The World Food Programme claims that it's delivering food to this area through the government distribution system. But it has no staff here to ensure that families like this get what they need. The government can't keep these people alive, and neither CARE nor any other agency are allowed to deliver food to them directly.
How old is she?
They can't even beg. Their only option is to sit and wait for a starvation ration, which often doesn't come at all.
아니 이제 15살이라니까. 15살입니다.
이건 이삭이 아야. 이거
There's nothing there.
네.
See?
This is the harvest that was to save Dong Sin, but floods and now a drought have taken their toll.
If this is your best crop, it looks at what we've seen at the moment, it's less than 50%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the rest of the county must be... Really, the corn harvest has been totally devastated, really. Yeah.
From a distance, it looks as healthy as any other crop. But like everything else here, you need to peel back the covers to see it. A town that looks okay on the surface until you start knocking on the doors. A child that you think is just thin until you feel their arms through their clothes.
When did you receive your last ration?
마지막으로 받은 게 한 열흘 됐습니다. 그래서 지금 식량 이제
This man broke his back last year. He can no longer work, and now his daughter is starting to starve.
And the families that we've seen with malnourished children are the ones that have lost their homes or their relatives or their husbands died or their situation is in some way more vulnerable. They're the ones that are suffering most. And so that's why you're seeing pockets of it. You're not seeing starvation everywhere.
가고 또 초는
There'll be no surplus to keep people like this alive through the winter. And it's likely that the situation is even worse further up the mountains, where there's even less arable land.
They want to focus whatever resources they can get sort of in an arc around Pyongyang. It would appear as if they've decided to let the more remote areas go. They've got a problem, they think they can control it by losing that part of their country, or not losing it, but letting that part go and focusing on the area they've got control over. So that's why we suspect that things are much worse in the more remote areas. But they won't let us up there. They won't let us up there maybe because they don't want to see how bad it is, and if we see how bad it is, that's when we'll want to work, or because they just really want us to keep away from that and focus on the rice bowl areas.
하기에 경의하는 김정일 동지를 우리 당의 정비서로 높이 추리할 게 대한 중요한 문제를 도의 결정하는 평화남대당 대표의 소식이 접한 여기 김정태 전기기관차.
In the face of natural disasters, the dear leader, Kim Jong-il, is committed to maintaining the world's last totally socialist system. But it's not just droughts and floods that have created the crisis here. North Korea has never had enough land to support an agrarian communist model, and since the collapse of its only patron, the Soviet Union, it's had no other economic inputs to make up the difference. It's a nation of edifice, spanned by huge highways but virtually no cars. Grand factories with nothing to make and nothing to sell. A capital city designed to look like a commercial hub, but with no commerce at all.
I'm confident that if we can sit down here and identify the need of food security for nurseries and kindergartens, that if we're working together on this, we can probably do 200 or 300 nurseries and kindergartens, maybe even more. But we're starting with a small number to build confidence for you. I mean, it's a learning, as you said, this is the first time that the DPRK has asked for international assistance, but it's also the first time that international assistance has come to the DPRK. So everybody's...
Williamson is having his final meeting with the Deputy Chairman of the Government's Relief Committee. He's restating his position that there'll be no unmonitored national donations, but he will provide assistance for the areas he's seen.
I've been to Dongsin and to Huichon, and it's clear that there is a great need, and CARE will respond to that need immediately.
He'll supply greenhouses and winter clothing directly to the kindergartens. If it's successful, he'll expand the program, but it's not how the government wants to receive aid, nor where it wants it to go.
It's been generally agreed that we focus on two provinces connected, and probably in 3 or 4 counties in those 2 provinces to begin with. And that's been Dongsin, Huichon.
동신, 희천은 기본 그게 농사를 기본하는 구역이 아니라 지역이 아니란 말이에요. 우리가 농사를 기본하면 이 서해 지역이 기본 농업지대인데 여기다가 우리가 농사를 협조를 집중해주면 그 한 개 군에서 나오는 식량이 동신이요, 희천, 몇 개 군에서 식량 생산을 더 많은 양 생산한단 말이에요. 우리나라에서 보면 대체로 보면 그 저쪽의 북쪽 지역에서는 기본 농업을 물론 농사를 하지만 거기서 생산하는 생산물이 극히 제한되어 있습니다. 그 때문에 우리가 이쪽 서해안 농업에서도 우리 서해안 지대에 집중해가지고 서해안 지대나 쌀을 다 북쪽에다 공급해 준단 말이에요.
That's why we focus on.
In a more open society, the government's logic might be believable. It's a position which is costing them, and more importantly, people who are starving, a fortune in potential aid.
Maybe we can get much more than that.
Williamson gets his program for the kids of Huchon and Dongsin, but for thousands of others starving, unknown and unseen, there's no one coming to help.
Children will die because of the severe winter, and we definitely don't want that to happen if we can avoid it.